Hi, intrepid viewers. I'm Dr. Lena Rodriguez, Australian sociologist, coming to you from the future because it's already Monday in Australia. Now, let me just say what I try and aim for on this channel is to give some support to those Americans who did not vote for this clown and creating a community with people all over the world because we're all impacted. And I try and keep it factual at the same time, having a bit of a giggle about some of the more hideous things because you've got to. Now I've seen it all. I've actually seen it all. I've made my notes, the usual anti-democratic atrocities that have been in the last few days, only to find overnight on Truth Social, it's been taken down, which is not surprising. But the Yeti posted a 45-second video, all AI generated, with him saying about the med beds. Have you seen it? Adam Mockler and others have captured it, of course. Basically, it has an image of an MRI machine or some high-tech piece of medical equipment, and he pledges that every American can register for a med bed in our brand new, highly futuristic hospitals, like the real ones aren't closing on an hourly basis. No, you'll all be entitled to a med bed. Why do you want a med bed? Because it cures every disease. You just lie in it. I mean, if this was 1356 in a medieval backwater, you would feel sorry for the people who were under this regime, wouldn't you? Because they know nothing about science or the human body, and it's all just superstitious nonsense. But alas, this is 2025. You can't actually believe it. Now, also, I'm a great fan of Josh, the trucker, the enemy from within, and he just brought my attention to the fact that the Yeti has introduced randomly off the top of his head, a fart in the night, 25% tariffs on any trucks that aren't wholly 100% made in the USA. Well, I think you'll find that's everybody is now going to be tariff because Kenilworth, Packers, all those big, big trucks are made with a global supply chain. Correct me if I'm wrong, intrepid viewers. If you can tell me a brand of truck that's made solely in the USA, every bolt and every tire and every aspect of it, good luck and God bless, because I don't think it exists. And that's what he keeps doing, is tariffing things that can't be replaced. And then, I know you know all this, but I've got to get it out of the system before I move on to October. He's musing, will he use your money that you paid in tariffs to bail out the farmers? Well, he might not. He might only do big farmers, not small farmers. He could do anything because no one knows what he's going to do. But should he do that, the obvious screaming, elephant in the room is that will only help them this year. Next year, they have no markets because this guy has been carrying on in such a way that there are no trade deals. I'm not sure everyone has really got their head around this. There are no new trade deals. Xi is not even picking up the phone. Other European nations, one delegate said after the UN that he just spits random words, that they just don't make sense in English or in any other language. The poor translators at the UN, they have to translate this gibberish. You have to feel for them. I mean, what do you do? But the point being, he is still intent on these tariffs. So he's now announced 100% on pharmaceuticals. That impacts us. We send a lot of pharmaceuticals to you guys. 100% on pharmaceuticals, 50% on kitchen cabinets. I think that's important. And 30% on upholstered goods. So nothing's left untariffed. It's it's unsustainable, and I'm so hoping the Dems grow a spine and start calling it out. Actually, in terms of this guy is mad. He's gone to war with 190 countries, the biggest trade war ever. He has not secured any deals. And keep asking him publicly, how many deals have you got? Because he just makes up numbers. But they've got to start calling it out for the crazy it is. This isn't just ideological anymore. That's Stephen Miller. That's some of the others in his world. But the Yeti is not an ideologue. And now it's clear he is just crazy. It's time. 25th Amendment. All right. Okay. Let's have a look at October, which I'm sure will be full on for a lot of obvious reasons. Now, oh, the Secretary of War, a war on Portland. I just hope people in Portland start posting all over social media really dreary videos. This is me walking across the sidewalk. This is me walking my dog. There's no one else in the street. This is me shopping in downtown Portland in a completely normal environment. Really boring videos. Short. Okay. October, how are we going to do this? I think 4 cards for each week, and then 2 cards of the Governance Oracle. Sorry, I'm just going back. I can't believe the tariff on new trucks. So as if the cost of freight isn't going to go up anyway, it's just going to go through the roof and push a lot of independent truckers out of the industry. All right, week one, focus, Lena. Week one. 4 of these. I'll put them face down first while I get the other cards ready. If you're not into tarot, it really doesn't matter. Just hang in there. Sorry, this ring is irritating. Okay, and 2 of these for week one. Week one. 1, 2. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh, they're upside down. Week one. Now, most of you who watch all of us as political tarot readers, you're getting to know some of the cards now, I'm sure. And this is going from choppier waters into smooth waters. But it's not a happy card in the sense that this is people who have to move. It's like a deportees card. But I think in a way, this represents, I hope it represents, forget MAGA, but there are a lot of GOP types and even a lot of independents who thought the economy, I'll give it to the 6-time bankrupt guy, obviously. Anyway, they voted for him. The point is, I think this is who's moving away because he'll do something in week one that will even make it untenable for them to stay on board. Okay, Page of Pentacles. This is more, um, I think this is more for you guys in week one. Guard your money, how to keep this pentacle safe, how to make it grow. All the green is about fertility, how to make your money go as far as you can. And we talk about that quite regularly. Camaraderie with each other. I think this is also you guys turning up in this week one. Together, you are stronger. Together, you are stronger. And speaking of strength, inner strength. So this first week, all about you. Let's see what it's saying about the government. Pursuit of control. I think this is Elon and others who are vying for control. It's the Peter Thiels. It's the Uber boy oligarchs. Pursuit of control. Ooh. And this one, shadow ruler. I think this is Stephen Miller. Oh, see in the background. Look at the back. I think this is Stephen Miller, who's really, he's the one driving the agenda. Ooh, yucky poo. All right. So let's see what's in store for week 2. I'll remind you, this doesn't include weather stuff, and there could be a major weather event or 2 or more coming up, but that's not my forte. There are other readers who are really good on that stuff. But assume, because in terms of hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and things, it's been a relatively quiet summer. Could be fine, but always have your evacuation pack and your pet's evacuation pack ready. Always. All right, week 2. Okay. Well, and these little juicies. Week 2. Week 2. So I felt from the beginning, October is really important. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Let me do it like this. This was determined to be reversed, so I'm going to read reverse. Queen of Wands, this is interesting. This is a no-nonsense woman. At the helm here, it's right next to Justice. This could be an Amy Coney Barrett type energy. This could be something else. This Queen of Wands, some woman who has a very high political profile. I suggest it's older than Jasmine Crockett. I'll have to have a think about that. Is this a Dem? Is this GOP? But this is definitely Supreme Court stuff. They're going to come up with an appalling ruling in week 2. Um, lies and deception, spreading lies and deception, followed by the mercenary in week 2. He'll bleed everyone for what he can. Also, of course, medical insurance. It was talked about going up 18%, 25%. Now they're talking 50%. Oh my God. Um, Now these two, week 2. Unwavering stance. I think this could be Portland, or one of the cities that's been occupied by the domestic army, the war on itself, providing an intervention. I think this could be a court case. That's why we've got this here. Oregon is suing the administration. I think it's something about that in week 2. And it could also be the legals from back from LA and Washington, DC and stuff. So I think those court cases are coming on stream, not that it will stop the bad behavior. So there's been interesting videos out with active service members and retired service members talking about the oath to the Constitution, not to the Mad King. That's a really important space. And the first thing that Elon did, the sacking of the 88,000 veterans, it was the first or second thing they did. Disgusting. We mustn't forget this stuff. Ugh. Now, just thinking about that Queen of Wands, she was reversed. Not a normal Queen of Wands who's compassionate, powerful, strong, clear, enthusiastic, gets people going. Reversed. So I just looked at my notes here. MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, strangely, um, she's suddenly taking all these positions that are not MAGA. So now she's very critical of the Getty, saying he's too fond of AI and AI is going to make everyone poor. MTG, I think that was the reversed Queen of Wands. Your enemy's enemy is your friend. You don't know. Node. Crazy. All right, now, just while I'm shuffling, these tweets in the night, like the 100% on pharmaceuticals that impacts every household, just a tweet. I don't know of any other country that rules by tweet. It's not done. Like a leader might have a comment on social media and people might be aware of their position, but they then leave it to their government to go through the motions of making it an actual thing. I don't know. We're up to week 3. Let's have a look. Week 3. Oh God. These cards are really messing with my head today. Well, week 3, October. So when does that start? Let's say the 15th of October. So in the middle. In the middle, we have the devil. Now, in modern tarot, where we don't believe in the devil as this entity that lives underground, no, 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 no. It can be about addictions and it can be about anything that isn't working for you, that's really negative for you, but you cling on to that behavior. You feel like you're chained. Oops, should do this. I thought I'd put bikinis on this deck, but I did it in a gold pen and you can't see it. Okay, so week 3, people are going to realize they're actually chained to this guy. I think this might be DOJ lawyers because a couple of more DOJ lawyers from his first time round are losing their licenses, their law licenses now because the legal system is so slow, which is a problem in itself. So it could also be people getting sick because they believe this man. Maybe they haven't got a med bed yet. Two of Cups, this is reminding you guys too, even if you're feeling a bit battered around the gills, strength in communication, strength in affiliation, strength all round. It's really important to cooperate with each other to maximize your influence. And a warning, hold on to your money. Now, 2 of these, just give them a quick check for week 3. Week 3, oops. All right, outside the trusted circle, interesting. Working on a solution. Got the spanner there. I think what this is about is someone defecting from the inner circle and either crossing to be a Dem or at least leaving the party over it, working on a solution, actually having conversations. I digress yet again. It's essential, the Dems, start saying now, you're only 2 days to the shutdown. Mike Johnson is insisting on a shutdown. Just be explicit. He won't let us communicate. He is insisting on a shutdown on the orders of his king. Just start changing up the language so people hear it. If you drone on the same way, I'm probably talking to myself here too. People lose interest. They need to change their vocabulary, they need to change their tone, and they need to change their targets and lift the game. GOP is really good at fear mongering. MAGA took it to a whole new elite level, fear. Dems have to start creating some constructive fear. What do I mean by that? Actually making people realize the economy is going to tank if they let this guy go another year, let alone 3 years. They have to start talking about the end game. They have to start challenging the Republicans. Say, you haven't stopped this guy doing anything. So we are not a Congress because of you. You are the ones who have made him a king. They have to start spreading the blame, pushing it back, getting people outraged, like stirring the pot. Okay, week 4. And then I want to tell you about a couple of juicy things. Week 4. Ah, look, I want to send all my love to Portland. Oh, these guys, it's like 4-year-old boys with battleships around the bathtub. Where can we go next? Pin in a map. Portland, we'll show them. They're pathetic. And that's the other word the Dems start to need to use about the GOP, just going, you guys are pathetic. You're watching your people lose everything. You are pathetic. They really need to get out there. Okay. All right, here we go. Week 4. Where? Oops, I pulled 5, so I guess we better look at 5. Okay. Now, this week 4 of October, this is when the chickens come home to roost for the GOP. It could be that the government's still in shutdown because they're just kicking the can down the road. They're kicking the can of the vote on Epstein down the road. They're kicking the can about doing anything to negotiate to open the government. This could be that. Things are moving quickly. You know how the flat earthers are all in anticipation of the rapture. This is another sort of rapture, right? This is more calmer. This is more, if you don't wake up, you're going to be run down by the chariot. This is my Wake Up America card, right? Week 4. Hopefully there'll be a big thing. Now, Nine of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. The Nine of Pentacles is a deceptive card because it's usually, if I'm reading for normal people, of course, a lovely card of accomplishment and a good time of your life, the golden years, if you like. But this is what is at risk if the country doesn't wake up. This is a really important card in the sense that it's nearly a 10. So it's coming to the end of a big cycle, and people need to get on the bandwagon of democracy, and use it. Queen of Swords. Now, we get a lot of disappointing rulings from the Supreme Court, who are blatantly complicit in the worst of his excessive authoritarian behaviour. But I think this is a ruling against him in week 4. Not that judicial rulings make that much difference. The ones that go for him make a huge amount of difference because they're saying it's okay. The ones that go against him, he just ignores it. So it's a staunch learning curve about the judiciary. Now, week 4, in terms of governance, and then I'll give you a bit of an idea of what I think this is about. Look at this. Collective action, military control. So during October, I think this is the takeaway. During October, he's going to be doing more of this because he likes nothing more than people in uniform doing what he tweets out in the middle of the night. The Secretary of War, the alcoholic incompetent, Hegseth. This is a very scary time for the world because America's military is no longer under a sane commander. I think this is what has to be brought to the fore by senior Dems. Collective action. So that's the collective, the collective. I'll just remind you, it's one of those stories. I've heard it as a Native American story. I've also heard it as a story from Mongolia. But it's about a mother who has 5 sons. And she says to them, each of you give me one of your arrows. And they each give her an arrow and she snaps it. She snaps the 5 arrows. Then she gets 5 new arrows and she binds them together. She said, see, if you stand together, they can't break you. And I think this is an archetypal story. It's about standing together at this time. Now, there's a couple of links I'm going to put up, and I would really recommend, except I can only find one of them at the moment, but I will put up 2. One is from a woman called, well, I don't know her actual name, but she calls her channel Life Take 2. Love her. She's an ex-Mormon, and what she does brilliantly is explain the mindset of not just her branch of Mormonism, which was obviously a very strict branch. I appreciate not all denominations within a denomination are the same, but she was in a very strict one. And she explains the mentality around it all, why the hate and why seeing your enemy destroyed, i.e., the Liberals actually destroyed, why that is a cause for celebration. It really helps explain. Now, for those of you who came up through the Southern traditions or any ultra-conservative Christian movement, it won't be news to you. You'll know the hatred that is built into this seemingly nice families first smiling Christianity, right? You know it. I thought I knew it, but this was an eye-opener. And I think why, if you're a regular viewer here and you weren't brought up in that sort of total nonsense, then I think it helps explain to you why they are so vicious and violent. It explains it. So good on her, and I think her channel's brilliant. Now, just before I go, oh, I know what the other one was. Now, I watched this video last night. It's only 13 minutes or 17 minutes, something. It's not long. On the New Deal, FDR and the New Deal. Now, we all learned about it in school, as you guys did. But let's be honest, that event or that policy or that program was nearly 100 years ago. And it's easy to forget the details. And what's fascinating about this video, talking about FDR at the time of the New Deal, that he took on the billionaires of the time. They might have only been multimillionaires then, but they were the equivalent of the billionaires. He took on JP Morgan and Rockefeller and the DuPonts and absolutely everybody. William Hearst, they all decried him as a socialist and a communist, all the stuff that's happening now. And I think you'll find it quite heartening to realize how he actually thought about the New Deal and why, and how he stood firm and how he filled his cabinet with progressives, not others who were very similar with progressives. And it's funny now when you see these pictures because these men were born in the 1890s, 1900, and they're in suits with a cigar or something. They don't look out like our modern idea of a radical or a progressive, but they were. And they took on the huge wealth head on in such a compassionate way. And I think America's only way forward from here is to go radical. Everyone calls it the radical left. Why not be the radical left? But I'll leave it with you, and I really, really, really want to know what you think of it. Did it bring anything else to mind for you? Had you forgotten things about the New Deal? Because you sort of learn it in school, and this happened in this year, and that happened in that year, and that meant this happened. And but a third of the banks went under. Um, during the crash and stuff. Now they'll be bailed out with your money, just like the farmers will be bailed out with your money, only to sink next year. The same conditions. And I found it riveting. So please let me know, guys. Lots of love, and I'll see you very soon. Ciao, ciao.